Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the monthly press briefing on community safety issues. As you know, I'm the mayor, Emma Mulvaney-Stanak, and we have a little bit of a lighter agenda today to cover topics. Largely, we're going to focus on some updates from our last community safety briefing and some introductions of new leadership among our public safety response in both our police and fire departments. But I want to start first with starting with some gratitude and real kudos to several departments around our July 3rd annual celebration. It was really quite a remarkable event where we welcomed thousands of people as a joyous celebration in Burlington. And last July 3rd was a little unusual because we had some pretty interesting weather, and I just want to publicly appreciate not only our Parks Department, which takes the major lead on this every single year, but also our fire department, our police department, and also DPW, our Public Works Department, because they all had a critical hand in making sure we pulled that big event off, but also made sure people were safe. There was an evacuation needed. Poor Chief Curtin, who I'll introduce formally in a minute. I mean, that was his first week on the job, and the poor guy had to be part of making sure people stayed safe, and how do we pivot to make sure that people could have a joyful evening, but be able to come back and actually enjoy the fireworks. So it was quite remarkable. And the other reason I'm calling out DPW is if there's any skill that this city has started to strengthen, it's its ability to adapt. So we were able to open up Main Street, for example, to make sure GMT, which was another critical partner for that day, could run the buses up and down to make sure people could be moving in and out of the city efficiently. So it was a job well done. I really appreciate the city team across all those departments and probably others, just making sure we pulled off such a wonderful event. So thank you to all of them. The second item I wanted to give an update on, last briefing we talked about the City Circle, which is a new initiative we are putting online to create a more consistent and reliable accountability system when people violate municipal ordinance. It's something my city attorney, Jessica Brown, spoke to last month. And as she indicated, our hope was to start the first reading process, the first step of an ordinance update as soon as we could. And we are on track of bringing to the City Council on Monday, on Monday, yes? Okay, yep, I'm just looking at my notes. I don't see July 14th, but Monday, yes. I just didn't want to mislead you. But to bring the first draft of the ordinance change required for us to stand up City Circle on Monday's City Council meeting, which is July 14th. And so with that, an ordinance process takes a few steps legally to bring online. We've already been working in partnership with the chair of the ordinance committee, City Councilor Jean Bergman, and there's great excitement around bringing on this additional tool to make sure we have an accountability system that's working more efficiently than our current court system. And also, this is a really innovative way to kind of think about partnering more strongly our restorative justice alternatives, as well as partnering when we need to with the court system in different ways to make sure when you violate our municipal ordinance that there is something that happens and something in a timely way that happens. So we hope that with the support of the City Council, we can move efficiently through the ordinance development process, and ideally by early fall or even late summer have this up and standing and operating, which would then become a weekly standing convening of the City Circle to hold folks, to engage folks and hold folks accountable when there's a violation of a municipal ordinance. The third and final thing I want to speak to up front is I just want to publicly welcome and appreciate our team of Beach and Parks Patrol folks who are out on the streets. They're called the Yellow Shirts. You've probably seen them out and about this summer. Last summer we had just a handful, maybe two or so last year. The mission of this crew of seasonal workers is to support our parks, our beach areas, and the Church Street Marketplace. They come to this work with a philosophy committed to community policing, which also is about de-escalation and engagement of community in these low-level pieces to help really build out our more comprehensive community safety system so that folks can feel like everyone can use our public spaces in a thoughtful and safe way. This year we have 6 folks that I helped to welcome when they started back in early June, I think it was. And the best thing about this, as I talked to most, I think they're all young folks largely, is that this is a great pipeline opportunity to try on working within a police department that is deeply committed to community-based values and also try engaging community in new ways. A lot of these young people are in programs like either law enforcement or criminal justice in some of our local institutions here in Vermont, like UVM and Norwich University. And I was really appreciative that there was a real values alignment in some of our conversation about why would you do this seasonal job? You could do anything you want this summer. Like, why would you do this parks, beach parks and patrol program? And they were very excited. So I keep bumping into them downtown here, and I think they're doing a great job so far, and really appreciating learning a lot about Burlington and how do we keep our communities safe and enjoyable for everyone. So that's what I want to say up front. In terms of mayor introduction remarks. Next up, we're going to hear from our new fire, not new to Burlington, but new to this role, our new fire chief, Michael Curtin, who started last week in this new role. As I said, he had sort of a wild first start with a big moment on July 3rd to be part of the leadership team to make sure that we are operating a safe, big event in the city. But I just want to allow him to introduce himself more formally to the community and share some just initial remarks 1 week on the job.
Thank you, Mayor Emma. Good morning. It's truly an honor to stand here before you as the next fire chief of the Burlington Fire Department. This department has a proud 130-year legacy of service to the city. I spent 26 years in the fire service, 23 of them right here in Burlington, and I can tell you firsthand the professionalism, the pride, and the commitment of our firefighters are unmatched. I'm proud of who we are, what we stand for, and the work we do every day. My vision for the department is for us to be a leader in the fire and EMS service, respected for our professionalism, trusted by our community, and driven by a commitment to excellence in everything we do. This is a department that delivers every day, and my vision is to give the people the support and the leadership that they need to keep delivering at the highest level. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. And see, now he's on his first press conference, and he lived to tell the tale. No, I really appreciate it because I think what also the chief, I really want to emphasize is it's great when we can elevate leadership from within, and I've talked about how important this is. It helps for our institutional knowledge. It shows great investment in elevating folks. If you come in and start your career or even mid-career, come to Burlington, we will elevate that leadership, those folks who have that skill to lead and that dedicated service to Burlington. So thank you, Chief, and welcome aboard, and more fun to come as we help bring the city forward. Next up, I'm going to bring up to the mic Ingrid Jonas, who is my specialist, or my senior advisor, excuse me, on community safety, who's going to share a little more of an update on the situation table. This was another piece we did a little bit more of a deep dive in last press briefing on community safety, and she has some good updates on where we are with the launch of this new pilot. Ingrid?
Thank you. Good morning. I don't think you all were there for the press conference that we had just less than a month ago.
Sure.
Regarding situation table. So we were announcing that we were hosting the training the last week of June. Burlington hosted as well as St. Johnsbury. This training was funded and sponsored by the Department of Public Safety, actually part of the governor's 10-point public safety plan, and Burlington was able to receive one of the trainings. So we were the fifth community in Vermont to get this training. It was a 2-day training. Folks in this room were part of it, professionals in this room, as well as several other groups from, fire, EMS, Community Health Center, UVMMC, Spectrum, HopeWorks, Safe Harbor, Turning Point, so sort of local grassroots folks as well as state and community partners. So there were about 60 professionals in the room representing at least 50 different organizations. We had the training at the First Congregational Church. They were huge supporters of this effort. This is really kind of a rapid triage process for folks to come together in a collaboration in a way to sort of enhance and leverage everyone's strengths and expertise as teams. So we have a weekly meeting that's called the situation table. Any entity can bring forth a situation, whether it's a person causing harm or a person at extreme risk, whose risk factors are crossing multiple sectors, or a location that is struggling. Folks bring a situation to the table. There's no identification of private information. The person is not identified. and then a team assembles from there based on their expertise and based on the risk factors that are presented. We will start the first table next week, and we have a lot of support from this community, so pretty exciting to get this started. Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, and as I was mentioning before, it's so great when we can not only elevate leadership from within, but bring leadership back to the city of Burlington. So today I'd like to introduce our deputy chief, our newly hired deputy chief, Jon Young, who comes back to the Burlington Police Department after many years of service here, leaving at the last rank of lieutenant. He took a little detour over to Vermont Gas, but has come back to help us lead in the role of the deputy chief of operations, right? Just want to make sure, because there's two deputy chiefs. And this is a role that has been vacant for a series of months after we had a retirement of a long time serving deputy chief. I'm very excited to bring people back, and as he and I have already talked about, and I certainly talked with Chief Burke about, is making sure we think about how to bring people back into this agency. This agency has a proud history. It is one that a lot of folks have gone through who are in law enforcement or other roles of leadership throughout the state, and one of our recruitment strategies should be bringing people back in, and also lateral recruits in general from any police department that they might have experience in. But I think this is a really good, strong moment for continuity of leadership, for institutional knowledge coming back within the agency and helping to lead us forward. So I wanted to give him a few minutes at the mic to introduce himself, and welcome back, Deputy Chief Young.
Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor, Chief Burke. Honor and privilege to be back. Everyone says third time's a charm, and this is my third time returning to BPD. So it's really great to be back. This is a job like no other. It's not just a job, it's a true calling. To me personally, I could not get the fulfillment anywhere else that I've gotten at BPD. They've treated me well for so many years, and I wanted to give back. I wanted to take some of that institutional and historical knowledge that I have, use some of it to strategize and move forward to plan for a better future for everybody. So the first focus for me is safety, security, and welfare of all employees at the police department, number one. And my goal, or my first goal, is recruitment of people to grow the PD in the coming years, in retention of the quality employees that we have right now. So I'll be working on those very closely. So to the sworn members, to all members of the Burlington Police Department, I promise an open door policy, working close with you day by day and involving everyone in the decision-making process. And to the citizens, you'll get transparency from me each and every day, and you'll also have a heavy dose of me in the field as much as you'd like. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Deputy Chief. And I will also note that Chief Burke would have been here, but he's taking a well-deserved day off. I can't even talk. And I know that obviously Chief Burke was part of the hiring and recruitment of DC Young, and we're just really, again, proud and excited to have you back. So thanks for being here. Yeah. All right. And with that, we'll open it up to some questions.
Question first to the Deputy Chief. Not only what made you want to come back, but you focused on recruitment. And I know morale was low, especially the last few years. I'm hearing there's a big uptick in morale for wanting to come to BPD now. But how do you plan to bring those numbers up and keep people here?
Right. Thank you.
Stepping up, please.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for the question. I feel like morale did take a dip for a while, and I stayed on reserve for a number of years after I left, and I was in and out of the PD frequently, and I could see a little bit of a decline initially, but then it started to tick back up and up and up, and things got really better really quick. And I think for the future, we need to, recruit. It's not just social media, it's outreach in person, it's people seeing the uniform, hearing from a person what we can offer, what our process steps are for somebody that's pre-certified, either from Vermont or somewhere else, coming into wanting to be a Burlington police officer, or somebody that's brand new, looking to get into policing. What are the steps I need to do to get into the academy? Making that crystal clear. Policing is not, I believe policing is not necessarily about money. Everyone has a recruitment bonus now, whatever that may be, but it's not about money. That's very temporary. It's about pride in the job, respect for what you do, respect for others, love for the community that you serve, and it depends what kind of policing you want to do. So finding those right people and having a good conversation to vet them thoroughly. But treating people right also.
Similar question.
Sure.
Excuse me. The young how does that serve, especially for the younger generation that has just an interest in public safety overall? How can that serve as a stepping stone to potentially move up in the ranks of whatever that may be?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a stepping stone, and many of those folks that we have on the yellow shirts, they aspire to be police officers, and they aspire to work for the Burlington Police Department specifically. They're here, they went through a vetting process, a hiring process to get where they are, and, we show them each and every day what we do, and we help them understand, we answer their questions, we provide assistance to them at all hours of the day and night.
I think just to clear it up, someone, maybe not even a question, the situation table is different than the forms that was the last public safety, talked about how that's being brought up. That's why I mentioned that's two different things,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to. And just to be clear, we took a little bit of a hiatus on the community safety forums. Those are more public-oriented for educational purposes and hearing feedback from the community. And we spent almost a full year now of running those every other month, and we've done different themes with panelists and community partners at the table. The situation table is a confidential space of providers really talking about no more than maybe 3 or 4 people per week to really think about how to bring the risk level down. It's really around those professionals being at the table and is not a public convening by any means.